So you're lying in bed right now, or maybe you're in the bathroom at work, or you're sitting in your car in some parking lot because you just needed a minute. And you're watching this video because you typed something like how to get over him fast, or why can I stop thinking about someone who doesn't want me? And you click on this one hoping I'd give you some magic formula, some five-step plan, some hack that makes this feeling go away by next week. I'm not gonna do that. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You're not looking for an advice. You're looking for permission to keep hoping. You want me to tell you that there's still a chance, that maybe if you just wait a little longer, or send one more text, or become the better version of yourself, he'll come back. And I get it. I really, really do. Because I've been that girl, refreshing his Instagram at 2 a.m., rereading old messages looking for signs, convincing myself that the connection was too real to just end. But babe, if someone wanted to be with you, they would be. That's it. That's the whole thing. And I know that sentence just hit different because probably you've heard that before. Maybe even said it to a friend. But hearing it about your situation, when you're the one still holding on, it feels like a slap. And I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth because someone should have told me this shit years ago and saved me months of crying over men who weren't even thinking about me. So here's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about what heartbreak actually is, why it feels like you're physically dying, why you keep going back even when you know you shouldn't. And then we're gonna talk about how to actually move through this, not around it, not over it in some fake I'm healed way. Through it, and because that's the only way out. Okay, so first thing I need you to understand, heartbreak is not just emotional, it's biological. When you fall in love and or even deep infatuation, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, all these chemicals that literally create a dependency. Like your nervous system gets wired to this person. So when they leave, your brain goes through withdrawal, actual clinical withdrawal. The same pathways that light up when someone quits nicotine or alcohol. Those are lighting up in you right now. That's why you feel like you can breathe sometimes. That's why you wake up and for half a second everything is fine. And then you remember and it hits you all over again. That's why you feel like you're going crazy. You're not crazy, you're in withdrawal. And the worst part is your brain doesn't care that he was emotionally unavailable. It doesn't care that he gave you breadcrumbs. It doesn't care that you deserve better. It just wants the hit. So when you're sitting there thinking, why do I miss someone who treated me like an option? That's why. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're stupid. It's because your nervous system got hooked on someone who was never consistent enough to be safe, which actually makes the addiction stronger. Intermittent reinforcement, look it up. It's the same reason people get addicted to slot machines. The inconsistency, the hot and cold, the sometimes he's so sweet and sometimes he disappears. That shit rewires your brain to chase. And now you're sitting here exhausted, wondering why you can't just stop. Can I be honest with you? Part of the reason you're hurting so much right now isn't just about him. It's about what he represented. The future you imagine. The version of yourself that existed when you were with him. The way you felt chosen. Even if it's just for a moment. When someone leaves, they take the whole world with them. And suddenly you're not just grieving a person. You're grieving a possibility, a fantasy, a version of your life that felt so real you could almost touch it. And that's the part nobody talks about because it's embarrassing to admit that you weren't just in love with him. You were in love with who you thought he could be, who you thought you could be with him. And now you have to let go of both. So, how do you actually do this? How do you get over someone who felt like your person? I'm gonna be real with you. There is no fast, but there is faster. And faster comes from doing the shit that hurts instead of avoiding it. So, step one, stop running. You know what almost people do after a breakup? They try to outrun the pain. they start dating again immediately, or they drink, or they throw themselves into work so hard they don't have time to think, or they just numbed out, scrolling for hours, sleeping all day, doing anything to not feel. And I get it. The feeling is unbearable. But here's what happens when you avoid it: it doesn't go away, it just waits, and it shows up later in your next relationship, in your anxiety, in the way you flinch when someone gets too close. You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. So instead of running, sit with it. I know that sounds like torture, but I mean it. Set a timer, 10 minutes. Put your phone across the room and just let yourself feel it. Cry if you need to. Scream into a pillow. Write the angriest journal entry of your life. Let it move through you, because emotions are just energy. They just need somewhere to go. And when you let them pass through instead of stuffing them down, they lose their grip on you. This doesn't mean you wallow forever. It means you stop pretending you're fine when you're not. Step two, stop checking. You know what I'm talking about. His Instagram, his Spotify, his location if you're still sharing it, his friends' stories to see if he's in the background. Every time you check, you're reopening the wound. You're telling your brain this person is still relevant. Keep them in the system. And your brain listens. So if you want to heal faster, block him. I don't care if it feels dramatic. I don't care if you ended on good terms. I don't care if you want to seem mature and unbothered. You're not unbothered. You're heartbroken. And you need to protect yourself. This isn't about being petty. It's about giving your nervous system a chance to stop scanning for him. Because right now, every time you see his name, your brain releases a little bit of cortisol, a little spike of stress, and you stay stuck in that activated, hypervigilant state. Blocking isn't childish, it's self preservation. You can unblock him in 6 months when you genuinely don't care anymore. But right now, you're in recovery and you need to remove that substance. Step three, stop romanticizing. This one's hard because right now your brain is doing this thing where it only shows you the highlight reel. The way he looked at you that one night, the inside jokes, the text that made you feel seen, it's filtering out all the shit that actually made you unhappy. The times you cried and he didn't comfort you, the way you had to beg for basic communication, the gut feeling you kept ignoring because you wanted it to work so bad, your brain is lying to you. So I want you to do something. Write a list, not a list of why you loved him, a list of why it didn't work. Every red flag, every moment you felt small, every time you excused behavior you never should have tolerated. And when you miss him, when your brain starts playing the montage, pull out that list. Read it. Remind yourself of the whole truth, not just the pretty parts. You're not missing him. You're missing the potential he never lived up to. Okay, I've been giving you a lot of tough love. So let me slow down for a second because I know you're tired. I know you've probably been holding it together all day, every day, pretending you're fine. Smiling at work, texting lol I'm good to your friends, going through the motions. And then you come home and it all crashes down. I see you and I need you to know something. This pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you loved. And there's nothing shameful about that. There's nothing stupid about giving your heart to someone even if they didn't deserve it. You took a risk. You chose vulnerability. And that takes courage. So don't punish yourself for caring too much. Don't let his inability to show up make you feel like you're too much. The right person will not make you feel crazy for having feelings. Remember that. Step 4, rebuild your identity. Here's something nobody prepares you for. When you're in a relationship or even when you're just deeply attached to someone, you lose pieces of yourself. You start shaping your interests around theirs, your schedule around theirs, your future around theirs. And when it ends, you're left with this hollow feeling like you don't even know who you are without them. That's normal, and it's also the biggest opportunity you'll ever have because now you get to reveal, and this time you build around you. So start small. And what did you stop doing when you were with him? What habits did you drop? What friends did you neglect? What dreams did you put on the back burner because you were so focused on making it work? Go back to those things, not because they'll distract you, but because they are yours. And right now, you need to remember who are outside of someone else's love. Buy yourself flowers, take yourself on dates, learn something new, rearrange your room, do the things that make you feel like you. This is the era of becoming your own safe place. Not because a man completed you, but because you stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing yourself. Step 5, feel the anger. Okay, this one's important, and most women skip it because we are conditioned to be understanding, forgiving, and graceful. But fuck that for a second. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be furious that he wasted your time, that he made promises he didn't keep, that he got to walk away while you're left picking up the pieces. Anger is not a toxic emotion, it's a protective one. It's your psyche saying, this wasn't okay. I deserve better. So let yourself feel it. Scream in your car, write him a letter you'll never send, vent to your friends, punch a pillow. Because here's the thing, underneath all that sadness, there's usually rage. And if you skip that anger phase, the sadness just keeps recycling. You stay stuck in that, but I miss him loop because you never let yourself get mad about how he treated you. So get mad, not forever, not in a way that consumes you, but enough to honor the part of yourself that knows you deserve more. Can I tell you something that really helped me when I was going through my worst heartbreak? The one that genuinely made me feel like I would never recover. Someone told me this. You're not mourning the relationship. You're mourning your own hope. And that reframed everything. Because I realized I wasn't even crying about him anymore. I was crying about the girl who believed him, the girl who ignored every sign, the girl who kept hoping things would change. I was grieving my own naivety. And once I understood that, I stopped blaming myself so much. Because of course I hope. Of course I wanted it to work. Of course I saw the best in him. That's not a flaw. That's just being human. The lesson isn't don't trust people, it's trust yourself more. Trust the gut feeling that told you something was off. Trust your standards. Trust your right to live when something isn't serving you. You're not learning to close your heart. You're learning to protect it. Step 6 is stop expecting closure. I know you want the final conversation, the one where he finally admits he was wrong, where he explains why he did what he did, where everything makes sense and you can move on in peace. That conversation probably isn't coming. And even if it does, it won't feel the way you think. Because closure doesn't come from him. Closure comes from you. It comes from accepting that some people will never give you answers, that some endings don't make sense, that you can't logic your way out of emotional pain. Closure is deciding you're done. Even without understanding, it's saying, I may never know why, and I'm moving forward anyway. That's the hardest part and also the most freeing. Now I want to talk about something that might sound harsh, but I think you need to hear it. You have to stop treating heartbreak like a passive thing happening to you. Because yeah, you're hurting. And yeah, your healing takes time. But at some point, you have to start making choices. The choice to stop texting him. The choice to stop replaying scenarios in your head. The choice to eat something today. To shower. To get outside. To take one small step forward. Healing isn't just time. It's action. And I'm not saying you need to be perfect. I'm not saying you need to wake up tomorrow and be fine. But I am saying that you are responsible for your healing. Not him, not time, not some magical sign from the universe. It's you. And that's actually really empowering when you think about it, because it means you're not waiting for permission to move on. You're not waiting for him to let go. You get to decide when you're done. Okay, we've covered a lot. So let me leave you with this. 6 months from now, maybe a year, maybe sooner, you're gonna be sitting somewhere. Maybe in your apartment, maybe in a coffee shop, maybe on a trip you book for yourself. And you're gonna be realize you haven't thought about him in days. And when you do think about him, it won't hurt anymore. It'll just feel like remembering, like a chapter that closed. And you look at yourself, who you've become, what you've built, how far you've come, and you feel this deep, quiet pride, not because you're over it, but because you made it through. You survived the thing you thought would break you. And that version of you, she's waiting. She's not some fantasy. She's not goals. She's you. Just with a little more time, a little more healing, a little more trust in yourself. So, right now, in this moment, when it all feels like too much, I need you to hold on to that. Not hope that he'll come back, not hope that it will all work out. Hope in yourself. Because you've survived every hard day so far. And you're gonna survive this one too. And I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but you're gonna be okay. Not in a cliche, Instagram caption way, in a real way, in a genuinely don't need him anymore way, and in a I'm so glad that didn't work out way, in a I found myself in the process way. So cry tonight if you need to, and then tomorrow get up, drink water, go outside, do one thing for your future you, because she's counting on you and she's gonna be so proud. All right, that's everything I have for you. If this helped, if it hit different, leave a comment. Tell me where you're at. I read all of them, and this community is full of women who get it. You're not alone in this, and you're gonna get through it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.